Welcome to the Kaizen Gal Podcast. This is your host, MC. The Kaizen Gal is a podcast about continuous improvement, building the habits to make the most out of what you already have and scale your progress in a sustainable way. Some people say, don't work harder, work smarter. Well, I believe that we can do both if we balance our time, energy, and drive well. On to today's episode. And we are back for season 4, episode 2, where I am slowly catching you up on what happened since that infamous episode that I uploaded on July 11th, 2022. A lot of things happened during that year, and that's what I'm going to cover today. The one thing that I have to say is that it feels all so blurry, honestly, because again, so many things happened, and I'm actually going through my pictures in order to remember. 3 major events happened this year. The first one was that I finally graduated with my bachelor's degree. Long story short, my academic path was not straightforward. I dropped out of engineering school and then I did a college degree in marketing, but there was no program in universities in Montreal, at least, that were of interest to me. I didn't want to study marketing, but at the same time, I wanted something that was aligned with what I was working in, which was marketing technology. And I ended up finding a program that actually stopped running right after I registered for it. Thank God I registered for it when I did. And so I was able to graduate. Why it's a major event? It's because the way that I handled and approached that program and my study load was absolutely crazy. It was bonkers. I wrote about it on my blog, thekaizengal.com/blog. Just look for the article called Driven to Burnout. It explains how I got myself to a point where when I graduated, I don't even know if I was fully conscious of the fact that I was done. I remember this summer as being such a blur because I was exhausted from full-time school, full-time job, full-time life. Everything was just full-time 100%. And it was a major event for that reason. I was happy I was done. My friends celebrated with me. I was able to celebrate with myself, to rest. But it honestly took me the majority of the summer after July 15 to fully recover. And even when I had my graduation, which was, I think, in November, I still could not believe. It still felt a little bit surreal to be finally done. So yeah, that was definitely one of the big moments that I had this year. Just being able to graduate and finally be done. Whew, I cannot explain how relieved I felt and how accomplished, because when I started that program, so many things had happened. I was supposed to go to Japan and then the world closed in 2020. I was looking for not something to do, but I packed my schedule full like most people actually did during the pandemic and a little bit afterwards. It's one of those moments that made me realize that you waste time thinking that you're going to waste time, because time is going to happen anyway. If I had pondered even longer on that program, it wouldn't have existed at that point, because like I said, they changed or removed the program right after I registered for it. But on top of that, 3 years later, I would still be pondering doing or not an additional program, and I would not have anything to show for it. In my case, actually 3 years later, I had a diploma. So big win for me. It was exhausting. Would not recommend to anyone to do that. And to do all of the things that I was doing at the same time, moving cities, buying a house, all of those things happened at the same time, and your girl was exhausted. That being said, great memory, and I'm extremely proud of myself for what I've been able to do, and I praise the Lord, because I know for a fact that I would not have gotten to the end if it wasn't for the grace of God. The second thing that happened this year was that I went to France. Yes, I went to France to visit my family. At that point, I hadn't been to France in, I want to say, maybe 2 years or 3. No, actually, the last time I was in France was probably 2015. It's one of those things where it's so, not that it's so close because I live on the other side of the ocean, okay? So it's not close, but it's a place that is so close to my heart because of family that I talk to every other week that, again, I really didn't see the time pass me by. 7 years since the last time. The last time I went there was December 2015, and I went again in October 2022. So almost 7 full years, and it didn't strike me until I got there that it had been a very long time since I had been here, because my family came to see me in Montreal and I talked to them very often. So in a way, you don't realize that you haven't physically seen them, or that you haven't been in the same place as them for a long time. So I was able to see my uncle and my aunt, my cousins as well. And above all, I was able to see my little brother. I have 3 brothers in France, and one of them I hadn't seen in almost 10 years. That is crazy to say, but that's the truth. That's what happened when you are an African immigrant living in Canada, and then you have your other brothers who also are immigrants in other countries that you never go to, that you never visit. So yeah, one of my brothers I hadn't seen since, I want to say 2010, and another one since 2012, and then the last one since maybe 2015. That meant that I hadn't seen my brothers in at least 7 years as well. That is absolutely crazy. That's, again, time just flows. It just slips through our fingers. And I hadn't realized. So being able to be with them was great. It was a little bit bittersweet, because one of the reasons why I wanted to go to France at that specific moment of 2022 was to celebrate the anniversary. I don't know, English is not my first language, but I insist on speaking English. So celebrate the anniversary of my mom's passing. So commemorate, I would say, my mom's passing with my siblings, not being, once again, isolated, even though I don't feel particularly lonely, but not being alone in Montreal on the day of her passing. To just be able to be with my brothers and to gift myself this after having been through a lot with school, life, and work. I was so happy. I was so happy to see my brothers, to be with them, to remember the good times that we've had. And my uncle has a whole storage box, like huge, with all of the pictures he has ever taken in his life. And my uncle was very big on pictures before we had smartphones and everything. So I have pictures of absolutely every single time that I was in France with my uncle and my family. It was great to just go through these and take pictures of them to keep for myself, all of us, just remembering the good old times. It was great, and I was very happy. This really brought peace to me, because not only was it the commemoration of my mom's passing, but it was also in the city that she passed away I was in. So it was just like a full circle moment. I've lived so many moments in this city, important moments of my teenage years, finding out my mom was sick, finding out that she had a terminal illness, and then slowly leading to her passing away and still being in that city, going to my first post-high school classes there. This trip really allowed me to reconcile with it, to reconcile with the good, the bad, and the ugly that this city holds, at least the memory of it that it holds in my mind, and just being able to look at it with fresh eyes and remember the things that I liked about that city beyond the sadness and the sorrow of the loss of my mother. That was great. And then the last thing that happened in 2022 was that I was able to travel and see my grandma. My grandma and I have a 50-year difference. I love to tease her. I love to be a disobedient grandchild because it gets her out of her mind. But then she smiles and we just move on. And I'm very happy that the relationship I have with her changed like that. The fact that I live abroad really makes me able to enjoy and appreciate the things that the people who live with her find difficult. I'm not gonna lie, I have it easy because I see her for a while. Again, my grandma, she lives back home and I'm from Gabon. For me, it's easy to accept some of her excess in behavior. It's easier for me that from my sisters or my uncle and aunts. And I totally understand that it would be difficult if I was in their place as well, even though she's an elderly woman and we need to have grace for them. But she can be difficult. But I love her. I love her. I love teasing her. I love just having conversations with her about the meaning of life, about the meaning of being a Christian, because she is one as well. The decision that she's made and the thing that she regrets, the thing that she wishes she could change, the thing that she's convinced that she cannot change. And those are all conversations that I love having with her. I love having her perspective. I love see her giggle when I give her a kiss on the cheeks and then right after just scold me because I didn't do something the exact way that she wanted me to do it. So every moment that I spend with her, I feel incredibly blessed to be able to see her and spend those moments with her because I lost my other grandma in the same way. I was so convinced that I was going to get to see her again. My first grandma, she passed away in 2016, and to this day it breaks my heart that I haven't been able to see her before she passed away. And I still remember the last time that I saw my first grandmother, and she told me the next time we see each other I will be gone. And I was like, oh no, you won't be gone. I'll come back way before that. Like, what are you saying? Don't say that. Of course we're going to see each other before. We're going to see each other soon. Without me realizing, 3 years passed and she passed away and I could not see her again. It's a driver in the relationship that I have with my second grandmother. The lesson that I learned from the confidence that I had. I remember the confidence that I had when I said to my first grandmother, we will see each other again. There was absolutely no doubt in my mind. And we didn't, because life happens sometimes in a way that is unexpected. You think that you're going to be able to see someone 1 year or then the year after, and 7 years go by. I would have never thought that I would spend almost 10 years without seeing one of my brothers. I would have never believed that this was possible. Never. I would say the passing of time as a way of surprising you, and it can trick you into thinking that you have more time when you don't know when its ribbon is coming to an end, for you or for others. So being able to be with my grandma like this over Christmas, to see my nephews in Gabon was amazing. Those 3 moments were really pivotal moment of the second half of 2022. Graduating with my bachelor's degree after studying full-time while working full-time, while being on personal, professional projects, entrepreneurial projects, full-time, just living life full-time and being burned out by that. But being able to do that was great. Then reconciling with a city that I love, that I hadn't been back to because of everything that happened there, from my mom passing to all of those first experiences I got there, and closing the loop with all of those memories. It was literally about feeling the cracks of sorrows from the moment in the past that were very difficult that I experienced in this city. Feel those same cracks with moments of joy, of fulfillment, and of just acceptance of this is what life is sometimes. And it doesn't mean that it sucks. Adulting is a scam, but life doesn't suck. The third event was being able to spend time with family in Gabon, and my grandma in particular, and meeting my nieces and nephews. It was great. Very happy, very thankful that the Lord allowed me to have those moments in 2022. But I have to say, however great 2022 was, it certainly did not prepare me to what 2023 had in store. And that, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, I will cover in the next episode. Bye. That's it for me today. I hope you found that episode helpful and insightful. If you have questions or topics you'd like me to address, email me at the email address in the description box. And last but not least, leave your 5-star review anywhere you are listening. It really encourages me. I wish you, wherever you are, to be well, and I will talk to you next time.